Welcome back to another bonus episode of Animal Crossing here, and I will be talking about how the time travel affects your game. Alright, so sit back and listen closely, because what you could miss could be your last. Alright, so, first up, even though I am in the game, so there are ways you can time travel. But to effectively time travel and go to a different day of the game, well, I'm going to hit the home button here so you can see here the difference here, what you need to do. So the steps to do that is going to the system, go to date and time. So this is basically what I have set up. Okay? So there are two different ways you can time travel. So when you do time travel, you can click on time zone and you can click on different time zones, but that will only affect the clock and the date very slightly. But if you turn this off completely, you have the availability of option of date and time, so you can change the date however you want. So you got to be careful of that because it does affect the game in different ways. Okay? So I'm not changing the time or date to show you that because that is something I don't do, but something I will discuss here. So, for right now, I have a either Gulliver or Gullivar. Either the pirate or the sailor is on my island here. So what it does for the time travel is this. That the effective differences is that what can happen is that if you went forward in time and let's say that you came across Red, the treasure trawler, on that day. Now, if you went back in time to the current date, Red will still be on your island and it will not affect the date because it what it does is that Red will be still on your island, but it would not go. It would not progress the next day, so that would affect severely of who you could have missed in between that. So, for example, today is April 4th, so I have either the pirate or the sailor on my island here. So if I went ahead 2 days, right, and let's say I got Sahara, the one that does the rugs, wallpaper, and flooring, shows up on my island, okay? And then I came back to today's date. She will still be on my island because it affects who comes visits your island. And the downside for that is that whoever was in between today's date and Sahara's showing 2 days later, you could have missed somebody in between that was very, very important. So you gotta be very, 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 very careful of that because it does affect your game in some way. Not only it does affect who shows up on your island, but it also does affect your weather as well. So you gotta be very, very careful of that. So you need to make sure you know what you're doing, and you need to make sure you have a particular app that that is provided by the website. Which is there is a particular website you can go to where you can predict your weather in every aspect in any way, but it does not provide who shows up on your island. Okay, so keep this in mind. So you've got to be very vigilant and very careful. So, and also, on that, you would have to make sure you know what you're doing before you time travel, before before you do some time traveling, because it does affect who shows up on your island and who you could naturally miss. So time travel to the next day is the most important and the best option to do so, not several days ahead. You want to do one day at a time, because what you could miss could be your last mistake. So you might want to be very, very careful of that. And I see a balloon earlier, so I'm going to take care of that here. And not in the middle of flowers. So I'm going to stand, right here. Alright, so it's recommended for time travel to do a 1 day in advance. So you need to advance 1 day ahead of you. So today is the April 4th, so you need to advance to April 5th, and so on and so on. So you need to advance 1 day at a time, so you don't miss who could be visiting your island. And on top of that, it does affect when you go back to the original date, today's date. So that you got to be careful, because if you want to keep going forward in time, then by all means, go for it. Then you don't miss who comes into play each day. So always be very careful when it comes to time traveling. Like I said, you need to only advance 1 day at a time. Not 2 days, not 3 days, not 4 days, not a whole week up until Monday to change the Harv's Island. 'Cause, yeah, 1 day at a time is your best bet, because what you could miss, it could be your last. So be aware of that. That's all I need to be talking about for the time traveling. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also comment for more of these videos just like this. I am your host, SurvivalMan1, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which is going to be Tuesday, by the way, since my schedule is back to normal, since last week was Easter event for this particular game that I'm playing right now. So till then, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Again, I'm your host, SurvivalMan1. Peace out.